Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the DJ Sessions Presents the Virtual Sessions. I'm your host, Darren. And right now I'm in the virtual studios in Seattle, Washington, coming in all the way from Amsterdam. We have Jay Hardway. Jay, how you doing today?
What's up? I'm doing good. It's nice and hot here in Amsterdam. Nice and the summer is in full effect, so I'm happy.
We just went through one of our heat wave weeks that we get here in Washington State in Seattle. And, you know, my air conditioner on full time, it would still be, I set it at 61 degrees. It would still be 86 degrees in my apartment.
What's that in Celsius, man?
I got to divide by 32, then add 6. Probably like
I know approximately. So
let's see. If freezing temperature is 0 in Celsius and that's 32 Fahrenheit, okay. I don't think you can actually double it and say 64 would be 30. So I think it would be somewhere around probably 30, maybe. We got this wonderful thing to call the internet.
Internet, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so
I do know that 100 is about like 35 to 40. So like around 85 will be around 30, I guess.
Celsius to Fahrenheit. See, we got this wonderful thing called the internet. So we'll just go, let's see if it's 95. So 35 Celsius.
Okay, that's pretty hot.
Yeah, pretty hot for our region, for where we're at. It is pretty hot here, but you know, air conditioning is working overtime. Now it's only 69 degrees in my apartment because we got a little bit of an overcast day. Okay. So Amsterdam, you're from Amsterdam, or you're not from Amsterdam though?
I'm not from Amsterdam. No, I'm from a small town called Drunen. It's in the south, but I moved to Amsterdam like 10 years ago, something like that. So, yeah.
What a city to be in! I'm going to be coming there for my first time this year. Wow. Super excited for that. To be at ADE. You could probably tell me all about it, but that would take like 5 weeks or maybe 5 months with everything that goes on during ADE. But super excited to be there. And you're going to be part of ADE this year. Can you tell our DJ Sessions fans a little bit about what's coming up with you and your involvement with ADE this year?
So ADE, for those who don't really know, it's Amsterdam Dance Event. It's a conference during the day for 5 days in Amsterdam. Tonight, all the clubs in Amsterdam, there's almost no clubs that are not participating. All the clubs are filled with events, official events, in collaboration with ADE. And I'm going to do my own event as well. I did that a couple years ago. I think 2018 or 2017 may have been the last time. And then, of course, we had COVID, and now it's the first Amsterdam Dance Event where there's no limits anymore. So I'm doing my own event in Chapito's club, it's the Wednesday of ADE. So anybody listening from Holland or everybody seeing this or coming to Amsterdam, definitely try to join our party. Amsterdam Dance Event. If you haven't experienced Amsterdam, that's already like, it's going to be crazy. If you haven't experienced then Amsterdam Dance Event, it's double crazy because it's there. You can't really sleep because there's always some party to go to. And there's so many interesting people to meet and see. So yeah, you're gonna have a blast, but you will need to recover. So
yeah, I heard that to take care of jet lag, I've been told to get space cakes.
Sorry,
Um,
to get what?
oh, to get space cakes. Are you familiar with space
Ah, okay,
cakes?
yeah, with weed, like
Yeah,
weed cookies, basically. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. Well,
basically.
I wouldn't know. Weed never worked for me, but so it wouldn't
Well,
cure my hangover, that's for sure. But
not necessarily the hangover. I'm more worried about the jet lag. I've never really experienced jet lag before.
no, I mean, yeah, I
Um,
mean jet lag. So yeah,
because
I guess, I guess just yeah. If you go all in, you go to and have time to feel jet lag. I think.
well, that's what I was. Another theory I was told is when you land, whatever time you're landing at, just treat it like it's that time of day and just run with it and just go with it. So
Just
we're
go with
coming in
it.
a
Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
we're coming in a day early, so we'll have a day to kind of acclimate before everything gets started. Kind of get
Nice.
our bearings. Our Airbnb is a couple blocks away from the main event center for it all, so
Nice. Yeah, perfect, perfect.
hopefully we're going to have such a great time. But I want to ask you something. I'm a little bit of a foodie. Where would be the best places to go eat and
Ooh, yeah. It
even
depends.
avoid lines during ADE?
Well, I think we're not really a line for restaurant culture. I think do make some reservations at some of the spots. It depends a bit what you like. If you like Italian food, Imperial Romano is a great restaurant. If you like, there's Cantana. It's a Japanese restaurant. It's in a weird spot. It's a weird looking building, but they have the best, like, there's this omelet they do with beef. Yeah, definitely want to go to that. And also just it's yeah very much advice to just go explore. And we have also like this what I like a lot of like small um, cafes, which are like the typical Amsterdam cafes where they also serve food, and the food isn't that good, but it's just the atmosphere, and you're in the middle of the city, and there's some like typical, um, and that's a lot of fun. So, but yeah, it depends what kind of food you like. Yeah, definitely one I would recommend. It's Cafe Kadijk. Cafe Kadijk. I don't know how to pronounce it differently, but they do Indonesian food. It's close to my house. Yeah, I'm a regular customer there. So yeah.
How far away do you live from everything that goes on? I kind of see like Amsterdam it's kind of like a crescent shaped city, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Around the
So I live.
river. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. It's like you have the center with all the canals, which is like a U shape, and outside of that, there's yeah, it's bigger than that, but that's like the main center, I'd say. I live like on the edge of that, so I live maybe I can bike anywhere in the center within 10 minutes. I'm from Holland, so we all ride our bicycles, and that's the fastest way of transport. Maybe not the safest way if you're so maybe don't try that because with people walking here and people other cyclists who are crazy, like I almost crash every time because people just run red lights and everywhere. But yeah, so to yeah to all the main things actually.
And just for a traveler, one more question about ADE. What would be the best way of getting around Amsterdam? You mentioned bicycling, but if I don't have a bicycle when I get there, do they rent bikes? Do they have the scooters?
They do rent bikes, but it is actually like I think it's quite hard if you're not really used to it because it's really busy. I compare it a bit to mountain biking. You have to be really alert and like avoid tourists, avoid locals. Um, I think the what's always a nightmare during ADE is the taxis. Just Amsterdam becomes a gridlock and everything you're stuck. So I suggest like the trams, maybe a bus. Although the trams I really like, the buses not so much. Um, but yeah, if taxi is your only option, it's also not to. I actually have during ADE, I always have some shows where I go to on a bicycle. So yeah, definitely.
Nice.
It is dangerous if you're not used to it.
Well, definitely. Thank you so much for giving some insight and some tips on ADE. I really appreciate that. But let's get back to talking about you and your music. And right before the show, I was listening to Inspire Radio. Is that your own show that you've created?
Yeah. Yeah, it's my own show. I when I just started, well, when I just started, I'd say when I was already making music and I already had my stage name, Hardway, I was like, I want to make a radio show. I want to show people what kind of music I like, what kind of songs you can expect at some of my gigs. And it's just a cool way to, especially back then when you don't have much gigs, to show other people, hey, this is what I'm into, this is what I'm about, and to showcase new music. So you can always like, explore new music, or like drop a new song and see if people like it, stuff like that. And yeah, we're 102 episodes further. I do it every month, and more professional with actually like distribution through like internet radio stations. And it's crazy because I make it in Amsterdam. I used to record it live, which is pretty cool. I used to record it on actual CDJs, but now I record in Ableton. But it's crazy to see. I think I now have like 2 million monthly listeners, which is, yeah, I can't even imagine how many people.
Congratulations on that. You know, it was this something you decided to do pre 2020, or is it something you decided to do during 2020?
Because pre 2020.
Pre 2020. Right.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I had it for a long time. I think since like 2013 or 14. So yeah.
I usually say to podcasters, you know, we've been doing our show for just a little under 13 years, almost 13 years this October. And, you know, one of the things a lot of podcasters come up to me and say is they want to know tips and tricks. They want to know, how do I get viewers? How do I do all this? And I really say, you know, I'll give them some basic advice. But the real thing is I say the number one thing you got to do if you're going to do a podcast or a radio show or whatever you're doing is be consistent with it.
Yeah,
and pick the day of the week you're going to release it, because your followers, they've got to know when it's coming out, and they got to know it's every Thursday or every Tuesday or at this time. And, you know, people can fluctuate and go up and down, you know, and maybe they'll get really busy and do a couple episodes, and then they won't do a couple episodes, and then they wonder where their followers go, because their followers, like a television, they will turn the channel and start following something else.
Exactly.
You know, or start listening to something else. And that was the beauty about podcasting. When we started doing it, I started podcasting in 2005. One of the things I loved about it is that you could subscribe to the show and it would automatically download to your computer or download to your iPod, and people would take the episode with them. And they wouldn't even necessarily have to go search for it anymore. It would just come right in. And I think podcasting is still a very underutilized medium that I think a lot of artists could go out there and exploit and use for those followers. It's like getting a candy treat or a goodie bag in your inbox. Like, oh, I completely forgot I subscribed to this. It's in my inbox and let's go, rather than having to find it. But 102 episodes, congratulations on that. In that 102nd episode that you just did, though, you mentioned there's a new track in there. Can you tell our DJ Sessions fans about the new track?
I can tell about the new track. It's a new Hardway original track, solo track, and it's coming out on Future House Music, the label. And yeah, I can't really tell that much about it, other than it will drop in this month. I'm super excited about it. We're working on the release, we're working on the promo plan. And I'm for sure going to play it during Amsterdam Dance Event. And I think what's cool about the track, it's I think you're going to hear a lot of, I'd say typical Hardway sounds in them. It's a little playful. It's not too. It's a cool song, and I think I really like it. I like playing with samples and then like weird little sounds, and then create a cool melody with those sounds. And I think that's tried for with this track as well. And I'm super excited for everybody to hear it. So if you didn't hear it yet, go check my radio show.
Absolutely. We'll get more information on where to find you. Well, I mean, you got a SoundCloud. That's where I was listening to it before the show.
Yeah.
So, is that the best place to go to listen to your mixes?
Yeah, for my radio show for sure. Yeah, that's uploaded every month as well. So definitely that's the best place to check out the new songs that I'm into and my new songs.
And you also do live streaming as well. What got you? How long have you been doing live streams for?
Well, I don't do it that often, to be honest. like you said, I should be more consistent. But when COVID just hit, I was like, I always wanted to do some live streams, and then I set up my whole Twitch account, and I got like a nice following from it as well. I still have a lot of guys that when I log in on my Twitch now and go live, they are the ones to join instantly. It's people like I almost know. So then I realized I enjoyed it, but it's so much work. It's like it's fun, but you don't really realize how much time goes into it, and you're like, oh wow, I spent basically a whole day. First of all, the live stream itself maybe is an hour or two, but people don't see what goes on behind it, and it's a lot of fun. But I also then realized like, oh, I also still want to create new songs. And I feel like I do want to get back to more live streams, but I'm working on getting a team together now to also help me with that kind of stuff, because I think if I still want to create music as well, I can't do it like on the side to just do a live stream, because it's a lot of work.
I think that you just summed up what I was about to kind of say. Is I think a lot of people thought for years that I just set up some cameras and press the button and went, wee. But no,
Yeah.
I would have to get into the studio, preset up, set up everything, make sure my internet, back when we were dealing with 2 megabit upload, and maybe we'd get 0.6 megabits upload, and dealing with all the technical things that happened. But I love the rush and feel of a live stream, because I came from a broadcast television podcast world where everything was edited and then put up online. It was not live. And once we moved to a live format, there's a lot of you're on point the whole time. And we're doing 4-hour shows, and I'm interviewing, I'm talking, I'm chatting, I'm making sure this is going on, I'm doing all this stuff. And when in 2020, I think my phone, I think I started keeping a tab, and it was like probably about 150 to 200 people reached out, because I was the live streaming guy that had been doing it for so long. And I had a saying that I would used to give away 98% of my information away for free, because everything's out there on the internet. If you really want to find it, there's probably a YouTube video for it. But I was the guy that everyone was coming to, and I started to realize, wait a second, you're asking me all these questions so you could do your own live streaming DJ show. You're now going to become my competitor? So now I only give away 97% of my information.
Okay. Smart.
But it was such an awesome thing to see people jumping online and doing something, because before 2020, I would tell somebody, say, I do a live streaming DJ show and we're on Twitch. And they'd say, well, who's going to want to watch a DJ online? And I'd sit there and go, well, have you ever listened to the radio? Have you ever listened to a show online? Okay. Number two, they'd say, well, what's Twitch? And I'd have to explain, okay, I'd use this thing and say, oh, well, that company called YouTube that's owned by Google? Well, there's this other company out there called Twitch, and it's kind of basically run by Amazon. And they go, oh, and we were one of the first featured partnered live streaming DJ shows with Twitch in 2018. And we're super excited about that, honored that we still are a featured partner with them, and working with them to do some really cool stuff, hopefully around ADE, hint, hint. We were talking about that before the show.
Yeah, exactly.
I think with live streaming, and now it rolls off everyone's tongue. If you're a DJ, you almost have a live streaming show where you're doing something to connect with your fans, even if it's just you in the studio producing music and talking with your fans. I think fans love that interaction they can get. And, they can't get necessarily at a show.
Yeah, I think it's where it all like also starts. Like if you have there's this saying, like if you have 1,000, it's all you need to get your like all your stuff, like to get a big boost on releases, to get like your shows sold out, to get people to feel like I got back to the foundation. Like if I do a live stream and there's like 30 people watching, those are the guys that are really, really, really into it. And they really want to see how I work, and they also want to do the same. So you get that energy, you get it back, and you feel like even when I'm just checking demos and they're like, whoa, this song by that guy, and then I get excited and they get excited, and you all it's just such a to interact. It's a totally new thing. Like you said, like people don't really understand or didn't understood like what is Twitch and how does it work. And I think that also for a lot of people, if you don't really use a platform yourself, it's really hard to understand why it's a thing and what you're making for it, and what content you should deliver on it. And I have the same with like, let's say TikTok, for instance. If I couldn't really get into it because, and I had the same with, I couldn't really get into it because I didn't really know what, so I had to like just use it a little bit for myself, and then realize like, wait a minute, now I get what you can do with this platform. And I think even for me with Twitch, I think I haven't even reached my that full potential yet. I need to do way more. But it's there's, like you said, also with podcasting and stuff, there's so much still to be won. Like as an artist, you can get so close to your fans. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's almost like I saw something the other day, and you look at things like Twitch or podcasting or radio shows, it all kind of falls in line with online or social media in the sense of things, of still being social and engaged with your fans in a different way than a physical appearance or crowd. And I saw something the other day. I've talked about this over the last few weeks. There was a girl online. I saw this on TikTok, and she made a TikTok about the fact that her label wanted her to go out and do something crazy to go viral, to help promote the sales of her record, to all that. And she actually made a TikTok saying, "That's not my job. I'm not here to make viral videos for you as the label." And I started looking into this a little bit more. And, years ago, before social media, it showed a pie chart. And the pie chart said, it was 80% music production, 10% performance and getting out there on tour and all this. And promo for the artist was a very small thing. They didn't do much promo. It didn't fall on the artist to promote. Nowadays, it's like 80% social media, and the rest is production and touring and all that. You just have to be online. And those that aren't online, that aren't building a following, it can be a little hard for them to grow, because if I'm in, say, Seattle, Washington, or I'm in New York City, and somebody from Seattle hits me up and says, "I want to play in New York. I want to come play your club." If I'm a promoter in New York, I'm going to say, "Well, okay, what's your socials? What's your following like? How am I going to sell ticket sales if I book you out here, pay for your rider, house, hotel, airfare you, and then you're going to get here and it's going to cost, let's say, $2,500 to bring you here, but I can get a local in New York to play the show for $500, who probably has a local following, is going to tell all their friends, at least maybe 50, 60 people or 100 people might come by and buy drinks at the bar. Where's the value?" And a lot of people are gauging that on social media outreach now. What's your Instagram followers? What's your Twitter followers? Can you push a button? Will it sell tickets? And I'm just wondering, have you experienced that conversation, or did you get in kind of before that? Because I know you're pretty young.
I feel like I got into the whole scene right when, and I think that even like helped my career like skyrocket at first. I was working like, let's say 2013, and before that I was working a lot with Martin Garrix, and then he's a bit younger than me, but he then blew up on social media because all the kids of his age and also my age were like getting on social media for the first time. So like all the people that followed you actually got to see what you were doing. Like the reach was still like very let's say if you had 10,000 followers, your post would reach like 9,000 people. And that was really cool, because then you could instantly show like promoters and stuff like, "Hey, I have this many followers and they're going to show up, you can count on that." And it was really fun, and it was really like that. It was also just fun. You would like post a picture of like, "Hey, I'm at the store," and people would go crazy like, "Whoa, like that's a DJ, he's at the store, he's like a normal," like people would go crazy. And I do feel that now, and like that, I kind of miss that part a little bit. Well, now like everything is so, or like let's say was so polished, and like every video was a super big production, and everything was nice and everything looked amazing. But then it became so like almost business-like, And what I do really like now is that with TikTok and Reels and all that stuff, like where it's like really fast new content, I love that playfulness is back. So you can upload something that completely like something super dumb, and it will go viral because it's just funny. So I feel like you can play around a bit more, because if you post something that's not that good now, tomorrow you can post something else. And I really like that. I miss that. I think like the last, like let's say 2018 and 19, it became all so serious. You can play around again and make just funny videos. So that's really fun. But I do have to say it's they're going into content and content creation, and you got to think about, hey, I have a track. You don't want just a shiny edit of you playing at festivals. People seen that. You really got to think about with, hey, what do we want to make that stands out and that works for this track. So it became also for me a way bigger part of my career for sure.
Yeah, have you made you've made TikTok videos, right?
Yeah. I not even that long yet. I'd say like maybe I've been more on TikTok since like a year or so. So
No,
late
I
to
mean
the party.
I do cooking videos. I'm a foodie,
Nice.
so but I'm sitting in the kitchen, and to make that cooking video, to get all the shots of the different ingredients going into the pan, I feel like I'm a videographer all over
Yeah.
again, making
Yeah.
a short little film. Then I got to put it to the music. Then I got to edit the photos down. I mean, people put time and effort into these
Yeah.
videos, especially if they're
For
trying
sure.
to pull that one-off trick or that one thing that's going to go viral. I'm just throwing garlic in a pan usually, and butter in a pan, and bacon in a pan, and frying stuff up. But I laugh my ass off in every single one of these that I make,
Yeah.
going, this is so crazy. And you're right. So many people can do the same thing over and over and over again. Then what are you doing
Yeah.
that's new? What are you doing that's different? I just had a friend of mine, her daughter went viral on TikTok. I guess she was the first one to ever kind of dance around by putting a glass of water on her head or something like
Okay.
that. And I think it did, was it 4.5 million or 40? I think it was 45 million
Wow.
views. And then
Wow.
her account, though, got reported that she was underage. But she's not. She's
Okay.
21 years old. And so her account got shut down, and she was in the process of having to get her account back because it went viral so fast. It was just kind of crazy. And but that kind of viral stuff can just blow up, and you never know where it's going to go.
Yeah.
Speaking of blowing up, we're going to go back in history a little bit here, dive into Q&A time on more stuff. What would you consider the biggest break that launched your DJ career?
I'd say my track Wizard with Martin Garrix. Like I said, I've been working with Martin Garrix for like way before his friends from an online forum here. And because Holland's so small, it's like, hey man, you live an hour away. Let's meet up. Let's like let's make some music, and we became. And then he released Animals, and then we had a single basically almost ready. It was Wizard, and they decided like, hey, let's do that as the next one. And that's like, if I think about it, it's still like crazy. Like someone has a #1 worldwide hit, and it's like, my next single is with you, and not like Ghost Production. No, you're gonna be on it with your name. And then he took me on his tours and stuff. So that really gave me like the big push. And then right away came the pressure of like, hey man, your sets better be good because you're playing in this club, at this club, at this club. So I was super nervous, but I've been DJing before that for a long time, also in like smaller bars and let's say weddings and stuff. So just a super exciting time. And after that, it was like, for me, really important to showcase that I am a good producer. I can do my own solo songs, and happy to still be a DJ and still release music. And we're talking almost 10 years later. It flew by, but yeah.
So you're
It's super
24
blessed.
years old then?
No, I'm
Oh,
31 years
how old
old.
are you? Oh, 31.
30,
Okay, 31.
I'm 31.
Well,
Yeah,
I
but
was reading your.
Martin.
I was gonna say
Yeah,
I was going over your bio, and I saw that you started DJing at the age of 14. So when you said 10 years, I was
yeah,
like,
but then
oh wow, you're like
DJing, I started making music was when I let's say I started making music when I was 14, 15. DJing when I was a little bit older, maybe like 16, 17, 18. And then I think Wizard was released when I was ish 21, 22, or 23, somewhere around there. So yeah, that's why I already had some experiences, and yeah, then it went crazy from there, you know. And
what
yeah,
did you have any? Did you work any jobs before things went crazy? Because it sounds like you kind of
for
got picked up
sure.
and went on tour. What were some of the jobs you had before you became
Um,
a DJ full time?
I worked at a car wash, which was actually a pretty chill job, because when it rained, you were getting paid for not really doing much. I worked at a barbecue delivery company, so we would deliver the barbecue with all the meat and stuff, which was basically just dry. Actually, pretty nice. I worked at a supermarket. I worked at several like farmers in like Drine, where I'm from. You would like work, yeah, just like getting the yeah, what's it called, leek, the leeks, the vegetable
Oh, leaks. Yeah.
around and cleaning it, so just like work. So I had like many small jobs. So I always made sure that I had some money so that I could spend it on either music or equipment. And then I was more and more into getting money from like DJing weddings and stuff. And yeah, I'm happy to now make money DJing at festivals. It's if you ask me when I was like 14, I would have paid a lot of money to be on. That the fact that they pay me for it is still like, that's crazy.
Who's been your biggest influence when it comes to your career as an artist, and why?
Wow. There's, I think, many answers possible. I think the way I was raised and the way my parents always said to like, hey, you gotta do like what you think is, yeah, fits you, like in a way of like career, but also just like hobbies and stuff like that. And they always took me very seriously when I was talking about, hey, I want to make music. Um, and they never ever questioned me, so that gave me really like the freedom to just try, you know. And that, I think, is such a huge difference compared to like friends of mine who were told that, yeah, music's it's just a hobby. Like I have friends that play drums, that play amazing, like super skilled in playing instruments, but they basically stopped at a level because they were like, oh, it's just a hobby. And I had the same with like making music, but then I was like, at that point I was like, no, it's not just a hobby. I'm gonna try to, I want to make sure I try everything in my power to make this into my job. And yeah, my parents always were super supportive in that. So yeah.
Who would be your favorite artist outside of electronic music?
Ooh, that's very difficult. Um, like, that's really hard. I listen to so much random music. Let's say if I say someone I would love to work with, it's probably Chris Martin from Coldplay. But I wouldn't say like Coldplay is my favorite artist outside of electronic music. Also, to be honest, I got a bit lazy with like discovering new music. It's like, I think everybody got a bit lazy. It's how it works now with Spotify and stuff, because you like a track, the radio of that track, and then you get to hear new tracks and you just add them to your list, and then you don't really remember the names, but you just thought, I like that song. Yeah, what's the name? I don't know. So
Yeah.
yeah, but to name it, that's too hard. That's too hard.
No, one of the things that I grew up, one of my first jobs was working at the music store. And this, back when they had cassettes and CDs would come out, and every payday, every 2 weeks, you had those 3 CDs that you were going to buy. So if
Yeah.
you went over to your house and you had a collection of like 250 CDs, you were the person for the party. I've never learned how to DJ. I've never had a passion to learn how to DJ. I can look at the DJ gear and go, I can read, I can see the waveforms, I understand how to DJ. But having those CDs back then was kind of like your music collection. Nowadays, with the ability to download music, and it isn't just having that one CD or that one vinyl album, is kind of interesting because now everyone has access to the music. We all have 50,000 songs, or like you said, Spotify just adds into that library, and then it's
Yeah.
out of sight, out of mind. It's there, but I forgot it's there, and it might pop up and play later. Um,
Yeah.
Even YouTube playlists of putting songs so you can watch the videos at home. Speaking of that, do you expect Beatport to have another serious competitor in the next few years, or do you feel they can maintain a monopoly on the industry?
That's like I've been thinking about that actually. I love Beatport. Only thing I really hate about Beatport is the search function is just it's too slow. It's way too slow. I don't know if it's maybe it's my internet connection or my browser, but I've checked with other DJs as well. So if there's another company that can fill that void, like it's also because we're a bit spoiled, like you used to be able to go find a track and like you said, you would go to a physical store to find a song. Either it's on vinyl or CD, and you would search for that one song. Now it's like, hey, this one song that Tiesto played in his set, I want it now, and I want it within 10 seconds, because whatever, we're all so busy now. So I guess it's a bit spoiled, but I think that's where they could improve. But other than that, I like what they're doing. Yeah, it's just awesome that DJs still have a place to buy music and then have it on a drive, because otherwise, yeah, I mean, Apple's moving to streaming. All the platforms where you could buy music are moving to stream. They're still here.
Yeah, and I believe Beatport is the one releasing the cloud computing now. So you're going to be able to have all your tracks in the cloud and be able to play your DJ mix and pull in from the cloud into the. I'd call it a CDJ, but they don't even take CDs anymore. So what?
It's still called CDJ. I guess.
So you call it a CDJ, digital music player. I don't know. I mean, isn't that what an iPod is basically?
I think it's awesome that they're like the good thing about that is perspective. So that's very important, I think, for the that DJ view over things, because the Spotify industry is not, you can't actually compare it to what Beatport does. So yeah, it would be awesome to. Well, the problem is with that, like sometimes as a DJ you get requests you don't really want to play. And the people will come up to you like, hey, can you play that song? You're like, I don't have it. In the future you can't use that excuse anymore. So that's it's gonna be a difficult one,
Yeah, we would do shows and we played at a place called the Queen Anne Beer Hall. Huge place, holds 400 people sitting down, beer hall, Bavarian beer hall style. And we were joking that, the type of music that they wanted us to play was more like 80s, 90s, 70s, 80s, 90s with electronic remix, those hits with an electronic remix, which was awesome. But then some of the crowd would come up and they'd obviously want to request. And we were going to make a big board with a sign on it that says, one request, $5. Justin Bieber request, $20 in a shot, and make this whole board and sit it by the stage and kind of make it a joke and play on it that if you want to request songs, you have to know, a lot of people don't know that DJs put a lot of work into their sets, and a lot of work. You could random it, but are you really getting to tell that story that you want to take the people on the journey of if you're taking requests? Especially if it's something way off the side. I think somebody said that They were playing a house set. This is recent. This is in the last few years, last few weeks. I saw this online, and you know the term Karen. Have you heard the term Karen online? There's a new one when it comes to somebody on the dance floor, and they come up, and the person was playing a house set, very prominent DJ, can't remember who it was. And the person walks up to the DJ booth and says, "Hey, I just want to let you know, I came to your show and I was expecting house music, and nothing of what I heard in there was house music." And the DJ goes, "All I play is house music." And, just that criticism from somebody out there in the dance room, and I didn't feel that. It's like, that's all I play, and it was a full house set. So somebody having the balls or the audacity to just walk up and say, "You didn't impress me with your set." It's like, wait a second.
What's weird to me is there's two kinds of people. One, there's many of them. They love what DJs are doing. They're appreciating it. But then the other side, there's no really in between. The other side, and it's a very few amount of people, are like just not at all appreciative of what a DJ is doing and think he's just pushing some buttons and he doesn't. And what is annoying is like you can have it's the classics 100 people all night come up to you and like cheer for you and like be like, "Hey, this is a great set." It only takes one of those persons to be like, "Oh man, you suck," or "What are you doing? What is this music you're playing? Or that's not house music." And you're like, "What?" You just it's annoying, but every DJ I think has to learn to cope with those kind of people and just like don't even argue, like that's like it's difficult, but it's probably always the best.
I had a recent incident a couple weeks ago. I was out at a nightclub, and I will say this in the most polite way: you're not going to make friends with everyone out there in the entire world.
No.
And the funniest thing is I was there with my girlfriend, and she doesn't know nothing about electronic music. She knows the big stuff, like she'll go to Movement in Detroit, or she'll know like Disclosure. She'll know some of the big artists, but she doesn't know the intricacies and stuff. And we're sitting at the bar, and she goes, "You know what? I'm really liking this music right now. I'm really liking this set." So I said, "Oh, really? Okay." So, and I've known this DJ for years. They've played on my show a numerous amount of times, used to be friends, had a little bit of a falling out. So I said just to go walk over to the DJ, and I said, "Hey, I just want to let you know, my girlfriend is really liking your set." Only words I said. That's all I said. A very nice, polite way. I walk away, go back, have a nice time, da-da-da. The next day I have somebody hit me up online, and they're like, "Did you approach this DJ in the DJ booth and say something to her?" I go, "Yeah, I told her that she was playing, my girlfriend thought she was playing a really nice set," which she is a phenomenal DJ. The DJ is a phenomenal DJ. But decided to blow up and do a little trolling on me online because I came up and gave him a compliment about that. I was like, really? Like, come on. Like I thought that was kind of very anti that.
You can't do it right then. Right?
Can't do right. Yeah, I can't do right. But speaking of DJing though, how do you balance your DJ career with the other obligations you have in life?
It's that's difficult. I think that's the thing where it has ups and downs, not ups and downs. There's plus sides and lesser sides. So my English isn't always perfect. Excuse me for that. I think it can be difficult because you're away a lot. So that's difficult. Like you don't see friends as much, you don't see your girlfriend as much. So that can be difficult. But it can also be nice that you're away a lot, because like I noticed in COVID, like I really want to be, I need some kind of shock to the system I can't be in the same studio the whole year and not go anywhere. And I think what's nice about every now and then getting to leave is like you leave all your stuff that you have behind, like that you have at home. You leave behind. So all the struggles, all the people that try, like there's always some stuff going on. You can just put that aside for a little while and enjoy your DJ gig and then come back to it. So it's like it's a really good way also to deal with maybe stress or situations, or you have a argument with someone from a label, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm on tour now, so I'll get back to you. And then it's a really good way to just literally argument. So I guess that's a good thing about it, and finding that balance, I think, it must be difficult for anyone trying to maintain any balance between work and private life. And I see a lot of comparisons between like friends that have office jobs and myself. So yeah, but what I do enjoy is that I always like realize like what I'm doing and what I'm, even if I'm super tired or I'm on a tour and things go wrong, in the end I'm there to play music and I get paid for it, and that's like, yeah, that's a really really good position to be in.
I always like it when we don't send the list of questions before the show to our guests. But I always love it when they're answering a question and it's going to lead right into my next question and they don't know what's coming up next. I was just going to ask, how do you deal with fame? Because it sounds like you do get bombarded all the time and you could just like, okay, my phone's on silent, I'm on tour. Or do you get to push a lot off to your management team? I know I do push a lot
No,
off
no, I
to my
think
team.
I like to think. I think it's also, again, the way I was raised. I don't try to take anything personally, which helps really well with hate. Or it's I don't take it personally. It's not me. It's more what that person feels and goes through at their point in their life or whatever. When someone is really praising me or whatever, I also try to take it not so much personally, because I see it from a different perspective. So I level-headed, and I just try to do the best as I can, and I realize that it doesn't make me more important than anybody else. And with that joy, when people come up to me during shows, and like almost instantly, they also realize like, hey, I'm a normal guy, and you can just talk to me normally. And yeah, on the other side, there's of course the business things that always come up, and people want a lot of a lot from you left and right. Yeah, I think you just have to go by what you think feels good. If you have contact with someone, if you get a request, just you gotta go. I always go by feel. So I just try to work with people that I think have the right intentions. And you do get sometimes you do get how do you say, you do get um, I don't know the words. You do get into like trouble or some arguments or some legal stuff, but you learn from that and you move on, and you know what not to do next time. So
Totally understandable. We're going to take some audience questions right now. And this is coming in from, I hope I say this right, V. Curley. Because this was one of my next questions I was coming up with. Do you sometimes get fed up with making and playing music? And what do you do to deal with that if you're on tour? Do you ever get, you just said it, you don't take it personally, you don't let it affect you, but there's so many factors. I mean, lack of sleep, jet lag, up all night, being invited to the parties. I know what
yeah,
it's like having those cameras behind the stage at 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning, and what sometimes happens
yeah.
behind stage stays behind stage. But what happens when the stress of it all, do you get fed up with making it? Does it affect you? And how do you deal with that? Or do you have a tried and true method that says,
I
I get to my hotel room, I meditate for an hour, or what's your
I
go-to
think
for making sure it doesn't
it's a
happen?
difference. Like I see. I think there's two ways to answer this question. One is like making music, like at home. I think that's a kind of question. I think if we're talking about on tour and playing music, I always feel like I'm in a sort of a mode where you gotta go with like, I don't know how to say this, like, let's roll. Like you're on. You're on. You're gonna be filmed. You're gonna be stressed. You're gonna have a lack of sleep. But if you all accept that, and if you realize and constantly realize how lucky you are to be doing what you're doing, it's what I'm doing, it's really not that hard to go without sleep, or to yeah, deal with cameras, or it's really I'm always just very blessed with what I'm and I just yeah um, I, I just think it's also it's really remarkable sleep, and like not a lot of sleep in a weekend, and it's really remarkable how far you can get with that. But then again, it's also like I'm a type 1 diabetic, and that helped me to be very aware of how my body is doing. So I'm always, even like automatically thinking about what my body is doing, how I cope with things. So I've learned to really listen to my body. It's enough. So when you need sleep, you need to get some sleep. And but the shows, that's also really the thing. If you have no energy, and I've experienced this many times, like I have to go to the show in 1 hour, the pickup is in 1 hour, I take a shower, and all I can think is I need to sleep. I really need to sleep. I can't do the show. Like, what am I doing? It's like I'm so tired. I'm just sitting on the couch. But as soon as you hit that stage, it's insane what then your body produces in adrenaline and energy, and you get so much back from the crowd. Yeah, that's just it's really crazy to experience that. So I think as long as that there is a crowd, I think it's not that hard to tour that much, so to speak. So I hope that answered the question. Of course, it's also the thing of making music. And I mean, making music, there's definitely times where I don't want to make music. I don't want to hear music. I just want to sit at home and play PlayStation, or just watch Netflix. And that's also very important to sometimes do. But I think anybody with a stressful like office job as well, sometimes you talk to no one.
Absolutely. We're going to take another viewer question here from your side of the fence, from, I hope I say this right, from Kazak. And Kazak asks, what's the story with the Peace of Mind remix bootleg? Was that something you ever planned to release?
So that bootleg, let's say, I made when I heard the Avicii album, the last album, and I just really liked the song, and I was like, it was kind of like I wanted to do an homage. I said, is that how you say it? To maybe to Avicii, or like just I don't know. I just felt like making that, and then I had this live stream at Tomorrowland Radio, and I was like, that's the perfect this is the perfect time to showcase that track. But I never. So I got a lot of reactions from it, which was really cool to see. And the only thing is, we never really made work from it to make it an official remix. So we didn't even look into that. Perhaps in the future, but I'm not sure if that's even a possibility. I'm not sure if that's even appropriate. If without the permission of Avicii, of course, because I think that's for me still what a remix is about. You remix a song, and the original creator is like, that's cool, let's release it. So not sure, but yeah, a tribute is. I see Kazak here in the comments. That's I think the right word. It's mostly like a tribute to Avicii, I guess.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for that response. One more audience question here, because this actually was also on my list of questions, and somebody just also put it in the list. When you're not entertaining others, what do you do to entertain yourself? I know you just said that you like playing Sony PlayStation, you like your video game player. What else do you like to do outside of when Jay is relaxing? What does Jay like to do? What do you do to entertain yourself?
I discovered this game called golf.
Golf?
And I never thought I would be this addicted. to it. I always thought like when you see there's not much going on, but um, anybody who has a chance to ever hit a golf ball far, I mean, you're gonna know if you're gonna be hooked. But that's something that really, yeah, I'm really surprised by how much I'm into that. So but that's only recent. And I think other than that, I love playing PlayStation. I love just um, just watching Netflix. I love mountain biking every now and then. So, but yeah, for now, let's say my main thing is golf. But I do have these kind of things where something becomes an obsession for a year, and then I need something new again. Because I also used to ride my bike a lot, like my motorbike. Now not so much. So that was like 3 years ago the obsession. Now it's golf. Who knows in 2 years what it is? If anybody has tips.
My long game is good. Once I go to the driving range and play maybe a few buckets, I feel confident enough to get out on the greens. But my long game has always been great. My short game completely. I'll destroy my whole my whole hole in my short. My putting game sucks. But when I was 15 years old, I was hanging out with my grandfather, my uncle, my mom's husband, and their friend, and we were all at the golf course, and we were riding around, and they said, "Oh, let Darren hit a ball or two." They had all teed off, and I was like, "All right, cool." I'd never swung a golf club, hit a ball in my life. I hit that ball so dead on straight and drove it further than all of them had drove it, right straight down the fairway. After that, my parents got me golf lessons because they're like, this kid might be natural. I never took it up that much, but I do. Like I said, my long game's on. I'm pretty good with that. And funny thing is, I used to play on the Game Boy. You remember Game Boys?
Yeah.
I used to play golf on the Game Boy, and that's actually how I learned you use what the different clubs did, like how far they would shoot, how the ball would curve up, and how the wedge, how you use each club to get to where you need to go. I mean, I could go to a course and maybe take like some courses, depending on how big it is. I could take like a 3-wood, maybe a 1-wood, maybe take a pitch, like a 6-iron and a putter. I'm like, I'm good with those 3 clubs. If you know what you're doing. I'm no expert by any means, and it's been a long time since I hit a golf ball, but being out there, it is very calming. You are disconnected if you're turning your phone off. I don't know if your golf courses, if they serve beer on the golf courses and serve drinks.
That's the only thing. Like if States again, we should play around, because in Holland, and I don't like that. The golf culture is really, I'd say posh. I'd say like it's like a lot of old people, and you have to behave, and you have to like keep like play fast, and like there's like one time I hit we were on a hole with some friends, and I was gonna make a chip shot, and this was like, here we go guys, and I'm feeling this shot, and there's like this tree like 20 30 yards in front of me, and I'm like, I hit it, and I hit the branch, and it comes right back at my feet, like right where I hit it. So like we're all like laughing because that's hilarious, if you're really like serious and then you hit a shot like that. And then we were walking off, and then some other people from the next hole were like, yeah, you guys are really loud, and like and it's like the only sound we made. That's a bit of probably captures the golf culture here. But I would love to. I see in the US, like you get you even get like how do you call it, cooler with beers, and you just ride around with friends, hit a couple golf balls, have some beers. I think golf is meant for, So.
Well, if you get out here, or if some things happen, you get stateside. Do you ever come over for Winter Music Conference?
Yeah, I do, but now my visa is expired, my working visa. So we're working on that. So hopefully in when is it, March? Let's hope I'm there again.
Well, when you make it over the statesides, if we're at a convention, a conference together, we'll definitely set up an appointment. Go hit the links.
For sure.
That'll be awesome. I'd love to go do that with you, Jay.
Would be
A
awesome, man.
few more questions here. Couple things we want to cover. If somebody were to write a biography about you, what do you think the title should be?
Ooh. Yeah. Wow. That's a great question. I have no idea. Yeah. Maybe like unexpected. I don't know. That's maybe very basic, but like I think people who knew me from my high school and stuff, they would never expect me to have this career. So in that sense, yeah, that's the best I can come up with right now.
Unexpected. I like it. I like it. It's a working title. And
Yeah, exactly.
something that's really important. I was looking through your socials today. I want to make sure everyone knows about this. You're in line again in the DJ Mag poll, correct?
Yeah. I'm trying to get up in the DJ Mag Top 100 again. I've been in it 3 times. I don't think it's that big of a deal, but it's just a cool thing to be up there. Have some, so yeah, like it's just cool, you know. It's just a list, but I also just really like when fans show their support, and if you're in there, it means a lot of fans have voted for you. So that also shows promoters that hey, this guy has a lot of fans. So it works with bookings as well. So it's just a way to also get more shows around the world, and that's eventually what I want. I want to bring my music to all parts of the world. So yeah.
Awesome. I forgot to ask earlier on too. Speaking about getting out there and around the world and performing, have you done anything in virtual reality yet?
No, not yet. But I saw some other DJs having some DJ sets, and I saw some performances in I think Minecraft, or was it Fortnite or stuff like that. That's cool. Like that's just I think virtual reality. We may need another pandemic, and then virtual reality will really blow up. I'm not hoping for another pandemic, by the way. But yeah, I think right now people are maybe wanting to go outside too much again. But I think yeah, that's something that the whole virtual reality thing. And if you've seen the movie Ready Player One, that's like the ideal image of how virtual reality can. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, I got my first Oculus about this time last year. Within 2 days of having it, I went and bought my mom one. I bought my dad one. And
Wow.
then over the course of the next few months, I talked about wanting to basically make a presence in virtuality, basically get our own VR nightclubs. I got everything ready to go in like October last year. I couldn't find a developer to help me get my clubs launched because it's not the same as launching a website. It's not like creating a
No.
social media account. It's not like building a website and you got to choose your platform and what's going to live in there and kind of go all in for that. We plan to be on multiple platforms, but it was in January, February of this year. Gosh, it's already August. Wow, this year is flying
Yeah.
by.
I know.
But we launched our VR nightclubs in AltSpace. And the cool thing is you
Wow.
don't need a headset to go in there. You can get an AltSpace account, log on and go in and watch our shows. We have our rotation that we play our shows all the time that are in rotation. But when we go live, like this interview, if I open up, we soft opened our nightclubs. We haven't grand opened our nightclubs.
Okay. Yeah.
The first nightclub we have is called Beta, and the second one we have is called Entry. There's a reason it's called Beta because we haven't even launched version 1 yet. But we're getting ready to. I'd love to give you a tour sometime if you ever have some time to do that.
Awesome.
We're looking at doing much more than just DJ shows in there, live streams. We're looking at actually doing meet and greets, release parties. I've had a lot of people check out our club in AltSpace where it's at, and they're like, "This thing is huge. This thing is pristine. It's awesome." And I can't wait to get into version 1, version 2, and version 3 because the conversation I've been having with everyone is, if you're not looking into virtual reality right now, it'd be the equivalent in 1995 of saying, I don't need a website.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Or going back into saying, oh, I have a MySpace page. I don't have a website. Or
Yeah.
I don't like social media. these are components you're going to have. And when you look at virtual reality being another place or another extension of where people can go, and it's not a 2D website anymore, it can be a 3D experience. And
it can be so cool.
You have your merch store. I saw you have a merch store online. You could actually put the photos of your merch in your VR space, and then people could walk through. You could actually sell VR merch, you know,
exactly.
and NFTs. That's a whole nother conversation we can go down, but I'd love to invite you to give you a tour that sometime. Jay, thank you so much for coming on the DJ Sessions. It's been a pleasure. Is there anything else you want to let our DJ Sessions fans know about before we let you go?
Well, my new track is coming very soon on Future House Music. I believe the 19th of August. So keep an eye out on my social media. Check out my radio show if you want to get a preview of the track. And if you're in Amsterdam, or if you're coming to Amsterdam, like Darren, for Amsterdam Dance Event in October, I'm hosting I'll be the Wednesday, the 19th of October, in the Chupitos Club. There's going to be more info about that soon. But I think you have to experience Amsterdam Dance Event once in your life. Why not this year? Why not this year?
Well, yeah, right after everything, why not this year? I mean, just reading up on it, 400,000 people a day. It's your hometown. Looking forward to meeting with you, get an interview with you. We'll hang out. But where are people going to find out that information? Where's the best place they can go to find out that information? Would it be your website or your Instagram? Which one first?
Instagram probably. That's where I'm really keeping up to date with the most stuff. So that's at Hardway. Twitter is where I also announce what's also cool probably for the people watching. I have a Discord server as well, Hardway and Friends. So there you can find out on my Instagram as well how to become part of that. And I chat sometimes. We do demo drops, and that's also probably quite cool to be a part of. At Hardway on Twitter as well.
Absolutely. And of course, we'll get the website in there too, since I had it queued up, ready to go. jhardware.com. Again, Jay, thank you again for coming on the show. It's a pleasure. We'll be following up with you here. I used to say, well, we're following up with everyone every 6 months, but we're going to probably see each other in the next 2 months. I mean, it's August, September, and then it's like October. It's 2.5 months. I can't wait to be there. It's going to be amazing. Thank you again for coming on the series.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, man.
You're welcome. On that note, don't forget to go to our website, thedjsessions.com. Find us on TikTok, Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, that meta thing. Even find us in the metaverse at Altspace. And now be able to watch our interviews live on Roku, Google Play, and Amazon Fire, and soon to be Apple TV. This is Darren coming to you from the virtual studios in Seattle, Washington. That's Jay Hardway coming in from Amsterdam for the DJ Sessions presents the virtual sessions. And remember, on the DJ Sessions, the music never stops.